When she laughed and said, "I'm finally free of him," right there at the dinner table in front of our friends, I didn't flinch. I simply smiled, took a sip of water, and replied, "Yes, you are." The table fell into a stunned hush. A few awkward chuckles rippled through the silence, but I just kept eating, unbothered. As if it were any other Tuesday night, she thought she had landed a blow, thought she was putting on a show. What she didn't realize was the curtains had already closed on our story in my mind long before that evening. The unraveling had started quietly. Months earlier, late-night texts she swore were work-related. A sudden obsession with the gym after years of indifference. The way she bristled at my presence, like it was a burden to have me in the same room. The woman who once fell asleep wrapped around my arm now couldn't bear the sound of me breathing. I asked her once, softly, if she was still happy. She gave me a shrug, a small, indifferent motion, but it spoke louder than any screaming match ever could. That shrug was my answer. It was. The moment I began to let go. 2 months before that dinner, I retained a lawyer. Not to strike first, not out of anger, but because I've seen too many good men get blindsided, wrecked, and broken in the chaos of betrayal. I wasn't going to be one of them, so I smiled more. I gave her space. I stopped pressing her. I made it easy for her to drift away, and she did without guilt, without pause, without a clue that I already saw the writing on the wall. She grew careless. I found hotel receipts in her jacket pockets. Her location pinged out hours in places she couldn't explain. I once watched her step out of a car driven by a friend. She claimed hadn't seen her in months. On a night she said she was with her sister. I didn't confront her. What was the point? Emotionally, I was already gone. I wasn't looking for explanations. I was planning my exit. So when she made her big announcement at the restaurant, glowing with fake freedom, basking in attention, I let her have it. I watched her revel in the drama of it all, mistaking silence for defeat. She was triumphant, radiant. "I'm finally free of him." She laughed again, louder this time, waiting for applause that never truly came. One of her friends looked down at her wine glass. Another avoided my eyes altogether. She didn't know I had already filed the divorce paperwork. She didn't know I'd collected every shred of evidence, screenshots, receipts, messages. She didn't know I had met with her employer, who had a firm no-tolerance policy on inter-office relationships, especially when they involved married executives. She didn't know I had quietly stopped depositing money into our joint account 3 weeks prior. She thought she was ahead, but I was miles beyond her. That weekend, she moved out with flair and pride, announcing she would stay with her new boyfriend until she found her own place. She walked away as if she were escaping a cage. What she didn't expect was the coldness that followed. Her family, once skeptical of me, didn't rally behind her. Her mother messaged me privately, apologizing for her daughter's actions. Her father, a man who had never liked me, looked me in the eye, shook my hand, and said, "You didn't deserve that." And then, as always, came the twist she never saw coming. The man she left me for, the fantasy she had built her escape on, was a serial cheater himself. Within weeks, she discovered flirtatious messages, images, and more on his phone. When she confronted him, he laughed in her face, not apologetically, not with remorse, just laughed. The next morning, she was on my doorstep, her makeup smeared, her eyes swollen, her voice shaking. She begged to talk. I let her. I listened as she wept and poured out apologies. When she was done, I reminded her gently, kindly, even of what she had said that night. "I'm finally free of him." I smiled again. "I'm proud of you." I told her, "You got exactly what you wanted." Then I closed the door. Weeks passed. She called. She texted. She reached out. Through mutual friends, I stayed silent. She shifted from rage to regret, from coldness to desperation. She even offered to try counseling. But I had already crossed over to something far stronger than anger or longing. I had found peace. And once you taste peace, real peace, it becomes something sacred, untouchable. I still saw her now and then in grocery store aisles, at mutual friends' birthdays or events. She'd look at me like she had 1,000 things to say but couldn't utter one. I was always polite, always calm, but never warm. That version of me, the one who loved her through storms and silence, Was gone. Our divorce finalized without a fight. She waived spousal support, her idea at the time. A performance to prove she didn't need me. I kept the house. She moved into a small, one-bedroom rental. I heard she was working overtime now, just to keep up with the bills. I didn't feel joy at her struggle. I felt relief. Relief that I had gotten out before her choices became my ruin. Now, I'm dating again. Slowly, carefully. I don't carry bitterness. I carry lessons. Love, I've learned, can blind you. But indifference, that's clarity. Indifference is power. And nothing speaks louder than walking away without a single raised voice, while the other person finally begins to understand the true cost of the freedom they celebrated. She wanted a scene that night, a dramatic finale, a triumphant declaration. She got her scene, but the final act didn't unfold the way she'd imagined. I didn't just let her go, I let her walk into the life she thought she wanted, and I, quietly and without applause, reclaimed mine.